Hello and welcome to our final week in our Craftober card making series. One is on things you can do with scrap paper. And because there's such a variety of things you can do with scrap paper, I'm just going to show you some examples of things I've done in the past. So first I'll mention you can get these wonderful stamps at most craft paper stores. Michael's has them, any scrapbooking store will have them. And basically these allow you to take tiny pieces of paper and turn them into beautiful works of art that you can just sort of instantly glue onto anything. Another thing you can do that's easy is I call bordering. So you can make borders top and bottom to your cards, or side to side, however you like. It's fairly easy just to cut out a thin strip and then glue it on where you like. Getting more elaborate. This is what I call sort of a stained glass effect, where I have cut out a design and then use different kinds of scrap paper to fill in each of the holes. This is a little bit tricky. You need a craft knife for sure. And then what I did was I traced sort of on the paper where I wanted it to go, cut it out. If you're going to take this option, I definitely recommend starting your gluing on the outside where there's the most edge, and then slowly working your way inward, because it's not so bad if these inner ones overlap onto these outer ones. And finally, the method I'm going to demonstrate for you today sort of mixes the mosaic with a torn paper idea. So under here you've got a mosaic of torn paper, plus the cutout stained glass over top. And I've even put it together using pieces of cardstock that had a pattern on one side that I didn't particularly like, but they were white on the inside, so I'll demonstrate sort of how to put two pieces of cardstock together as well. We'll start with the torn paper mosaic. For that you're going to need a base piece of paper that you're going to put the torn pieces on. The paper that you're going to tear, and in this case I did just a little bit ahead of time. A ruler and a glue stick. So ripping paper, I like to do these strips, but it gives sort of a different feel than cutting it. It can actually be smoother depending on how many times you crease the paper. To start, you want to sort of determine how much, and you can measure how deep you want the fold to be. I'm happy to eyeball it in this case, so you make a fold. Scrape it with your ruler or your library card. And then once I've got a crease that's fairly deep, I like to just hold my ruler there. Begin tearing that way. So, got 3 and 3. My plan is to make a pattern, and I've just grabbed a spare piece of cardboard I'd had handy. So we're going to start gluing. I'm going to do sort of a stripe pattern here. So once I've got my scrap paper or torn paper mosaic kind of laid out, it's time to sort of put your design or your sort of stained glass piece over top. Now, I did prepare this in advance because it seemed elaborate and I didn't want to have to get halfway through it on camera, mess it up, and then redo it again. So, but this was made, I did a sketch in pencil first, then I cut it out with my cutting knife, and then I did black ink on the edges to sort of highlight the parts I wanted. Now that I've got my scrap paper mosaic, I'm going to sort of eyeball, how do I want this to go together? Do I like it here? And then with my glue, and there we go. Now, I would recommend at this point walking away and letting the glue dry. Unfortunately, I don't have quite the time to do that today, so we're going to forge ahead. So, I wanted to mark the insides here with the marker, sort of to make that uniform. And there we are. And now, of course, we have excess around the edge of the bear. So I'm just going to use my craft knife to sort of cut that off. You can also use scissors. And now I can glue this little guy onto a card. Much better. I'm also going to show you how to make cards out of scrap pieces of cardstock. These are, I don't particularly love this pattern of cardstock, but I do like the fact that the insides are white. And the yellow paper is sort of strong enough that it's not going to show the pattern internally, or show the pattern through. Maybe a little bit, but it sort of adds to the character. So, I'm going to create yellow cardstock by going like this. And now again, I would recommend you maybe find a heavy book or something, put it on top of here, and let it sit for a while. In the interest of time, however, I'm just going to forge ahead. So if this is the card I want it put on like this, I'm going to have to measure and sort of cut this down to size. So got 5. So these pieces approximately 5 by 4. So I'm going to want this piece to be 4.5 by 5.5. Actually, no. I need to consider this margin. So I'm going to try to make this piece 5 by 6. So thinking again of this edge, sort of measure sort of a 1/4 inch here. Which means I've got 1/2 inch here. Half inch. I'm going to score this. This is the back of my knife. And fold it. And this is where waiting for the glue to dry would have been the better choice. So this piece, I actually don't mind that this pattern will be on the back. So I just need to cut it down to 5 by 6. And then give it another crease. Now, for this one I stitched together, but in this case I think I'm just going to use hot glue. And now to glue this on, I think I will use hot glue. You can also use glue stick glue.
Glue gun tends to make it sort of pop out just a bit more.
And now all I need is to find maybe a bit of paper to do a bow tie here. Actually, let's do that in the blue. Hang on. There we go. What a smart little teddy bear he is. And now I can open it up. Maybe just work a little bit more on this joint. And I can write my message inside.